The start of the new school year can be stressful for students during a normal year. But this year, with so much going on, so many changes and so many questions still up in the air, the anxiety can really take a toll on their mental health. So to help us with this transition, Dr. Larry Mitnall is an American Heart Association volunteer, as well as a child, adolescent, and adult psychiatrist. He joins us this morning to talk about mentally preparing your children for the new school year. Good morning, doctor. Is there a doctor in the house?
Good morning. Good morning. Thanks
Dr.
for having me.
I know now you have 5 kids. So tell us, what do parents need to know in order to help transition with their kids going back to school, especially this school year?
Sure. That's a great question. I mean, I think for so many of us, we're wrestling with the things that you said. After being home for nearly, half the year, many of our kids may not be as fully, mentally and socially conditioned to be thrown back into all of the academic rigor of school in whatever form that takes. And so, as parents, it often falls to us to work on or look at ways that we can help empower our kids to really be ready for that transition back into social distancing. And so there are a couple of things that I think can be helpful in getting some of that momentum started. I mean, one of them is for parents, if we can take a little bit of pause for ourselves and reflect and just kind of wrap our heads around the understanding that, this is going to be a process. And so it's worth a few moments to just kind of mentally adjust and kind of get our emotional state steady to help us with weathering and talking with our kids on how to best transition. The second part is that talking with kids, not being afraid to ask our kids about what their feelings are for the fall, what they're most looking forward to, but also what some of their, anxiety or fears might be. And so I think sometimes as parents, we can be surprised at the resilience of our kids. There might be many of our kids who also feel, quite confident with some of the transition back. But then other kids are maybe silently, stewing with some of their own concerns about, can I high five my friends? Will I be able to hug my teachers when I go back? And what will the school day look like? And so being able to, at least talk with our kids, give them the best information that we have available, knowing that it's going to, it may change week from week as we prepare to kind of enter into the school year. But that conversation allows an opportunity for an exchange of ideas and helps us to know how it is we might need to support our kids to help them to be as successful as possible.
Yeah, having those conversations so important. So can you tell us what is the impact of not doing that before kids go back to school, not having that conversation where kids can have an open dialogue? What is the impact of not doing that?
Yes. I think, my biggest concerns would be, the kids who sometimes if kids don't say things explicitly, we see it kind of manifested in their behaviors or the way that they're kind of talking about themselves and their bodies. And so I'll give you an example for younger kids. So sometimes when kids are feeling, mounting anxiety, we start to hear sometimes as parents this rhythm of, recurrent headaches, or, their tummy or their stomach is feeling, upset or kind of twisted in knots. Some kids start breathing kind of fast and feeling a little bit tremulous. And often that means and can be a sign for us that, they're having trouble managing or dealing with and expressing the anxiety. And so maybe they just need the emotional vocabulary and some of the support that we can offer as parents to help them feel less stressed.
Yeah. So tell me, why does the American Heart Association focus on this physical and emotional side of things with kids?
I'm so glad you asked that. I mean, really at the core of helping with physical health, mental health is right there with it. And so those two things are really kind of intrinsically linked. And we have a lot of really great evidence, scientific evidence on just this point that pediatric healthy behaviors support the connections between kind of overall health and well-being, as well as kind of disease prevention and quality of life. And so if we can get kids in a consistent pattern of healthy healthy kind of daily habits that helps them to feel better. It improves their focus, their cognition and thinking skills, and also helps them better with kind of management of anxiety and depression. And so people might be surprised to know if their child hasn't been connected to someone in behavioral health or worked with a psychiatrist, that often part of our plan to help kids to thrive and feel more confident is also getting them more physically active too. And so it turns out that heart health is also brain health.
Thank you so much. Now, very quickly, where can viewers go to get more information about this?
Sure. There's some great information on heart.org/kids that has a lot of tools and resources that families can tap into that helps kids and helps families come up with ideas for supporting their mental and physical health. And then also I have a YouTube channel where I tackle kind of issues related to both this and other things psychiatric that is meant as a support for kids and for their families.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Bittenoff, for all that great information. And here's success to your kids going back to school. Thank you so much. Have a great day, okay? All right.